Hi, welcome back to Mastering the Young Band. Today's episode, I want to talk about note length as it pertains to articulation. Articulations with middle level band, you really have to separate out your technique, your speed of articulation, how fast your students can articulate versus note length or note shape. Today's episode, I want to talk more about the note length as it pertains to middle level band. I use a framework for my articulations. This is on page 13 of my Essential Foundations book, this document. And I like to categorize articulations into 5 different articulations. I use tenuto, lifted, staccato, accented, and marcato. Those are the 5 articulations that I use with beginners. Now, what's interesting, I am a percussionist by trade. That's my primary instrument. And it took me years and years and years and years of figuring out how to teach articulation, because as a percussionist, it's just different than how it is for wind players. And through talking to a lot of people that are way smarter than me and are better at this than me, that's how I came up with this framework of teaching articulation. The definitions, and you'll see this in my Essential Foundations book, for tenuto is smooth and connected, light tongue. I like to use words with my articulations in my kids. So whenever we do tenuto, we say the word da. So 4 quarter notes, tenuto would be da, 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 da. It's a light tongue, smooth sound, and the picture representation is it's just blocks of sound. Lifted, we talk about there's a small space between the notes and the tongue stays light. The note shape that we use is this note shape here. We'll sometimes make the analogy if it looks like Super Mario Brothers, that bullet bill shape. And so that one, da, 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 da. Most kids, when they do lifted, will make it a little bit too short. A good strategy you can use to make sure that it's long enough is you can have them say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 4 is where their sound tapers off. That's where it ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. What you're going to find with middle level kids, again, they're going to play it a little bit too short. They need to make it a little bit longer. And the second thing is they tend to over-articulate it. Ta, ta, ta. You have to remind them pretty often to keep their tongue light on lifted, to not use a strong, firm tongue on that. The next one is staccato. Staccato, I think, is probably the most misplayed along with accent articulation of middle-level band. Most kids tongue too hard on staccato. What they tend to do is this kind of sound for staccato, where they're just really barking that sound. Their tongue is too strong, they're using too much tongue. And the second thing is most middle-level band students play it too short. I don't necessarily teach half value. I know some people like teaching it that way. What we talk about staccato is light and short. It's a light tongue and a short sound. I like to do a lot of I play, you play. And I purposely make it maybe a tiny bit too long at the beginning, just to teach them that staccato is not this like really abrupt sound. The next articulation, so by the way, what I show them too on the page there is staccato is squares. So there's spaces between the notes. And the articulation I like to use for staccato is D, 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 D. It helps reinforce the light tongue, and it's just a slightly, obviously different note length than lifted. Next is accent, and you notice the shape that I use for accent is that there. And the syllable I use for accent is ta. So it's a firm tongue. I'll have them say, okay, firm tongue, strong air, strong air. And we talk about accents need to come from the core. I like to teach accents this way, where I go, okay, repeat after me, everybody. And I have them put their hand or hands on their core and have them do a lot of that back and forth to me. I would like to reinforce with them that there's some space on accents. We'll do it back and forth, and I'll say, what articulation is accent similar to? And a lot of the kids will figure out, oh, it's similar to lifted. I said, well, what's the difference? The difference is the firm tongue. You have that stronger attack with the firm tongue, firm core, compared to lifted, which is a light tongue. You'll notice with the articulation, the word I like to use is ta for accent. So in their music, they might have da, da, dee, dee, ta, ta. So they might have 2 tenuto, 2 staccato, and 2 accents. The words would be da, da, dee, dee, ta, ta. And I like to have my kids say their articulation that way because it really just helps them to see the difference, feel the difference, especially on their air and with their tongue. The last articulation, I know we don't see quite as much middle-level band, but it is there, is marcato. Some people call this rooftop accents. I like to call it marcato. And you'll notice the length that I use there is a triangle like that. And we say the word T, T, T for the articulations. So when we're doing that, I like to, again, affirm with them, similar to accent, it's a strong tongue and firm core, but it's more air than tongue. Middle-level students tend to always want to try to use too much tongue in their articulation. So if you think about using more air there, that's how they get those articulations. You'll notice that on this sheet, I have all of these articulations, and on the second page, on page 14, is our note length exercise. And I like to do that with my students to reinforce with them the different articulations. So there's 4 tenuto quarter notes, 4 lifted quarter notes, 4 staccato, 4 accent, 4 marcato. With my late in my beginning band year and then my second year, it's always me leading this. I play, you play, so they can always hear the articulation before they play it. As they get older, I start letting some of my section leaders, my more advanced players, lead it that way so they hear people in their section with their instrument playing these articulations. But this is a really important exercise to do with your kids so they can practice transitioning to all of the different articulations. So again, this is all of my essential foundations warm-up that's on MikePerezBand.com. And there's links on there to be able to purchase that online. And of course, when you purchase the Essential Foundations, you have rights to copy that in perpetuity. It's a fantastic way of getting a lot of resources for your kids without having to buy an entire book set. And the nice thing is you can just copy it as much as you need. So, hope you found that valuable and take care.